Tsunami Studios. Strange Adventures, issue number 10. This is the end, pretty much. Like, we're 3/4 done now. Wow. Okay, let's take a break. I'm losing my mind here already. This is where everything's revealed, I think. We could backtrack and it could be something else in the next two issues, but I don't think so. So, there are a few moments in comic book writing where I see like a script so perfectly written and kept together that I'm actually jealous I didn't write it. A lot of it comes from things like Department of Truth, a lot of it comes from things in, like the Marvel Universe, but just this script alone, just reading what Tom King did in this book, I think it's actually really well handled. It is so nuanced and full of perfect wording and spacing and understanding of the story you are telling that it's very, very impressive. So, issue 10, Strange Adventures. A lot is revealed here. Let's get into it. There's about 3 things we need to cover primarily. There is the timeline we are seeing with Alanna in the present. There is the timeline in the past with things of Adam Strange in the War on Rann. And then there is the letter that is being written to Alanna from Michael Holt, Mr. Terrific. So, I don't want to jump around a lot when it comes to like the different timelines because, of course, it's Doc Shaner, Mitch Gerads, and Tom King. There's a lot of jumping around from the past and present. So, in the past, pretty much, it goes with everything we're seeing in the actual story in the present, where we're seeing the harshnesses that are being presented, I think, more openly now in this issue than we have in the past 9 issues. The war is getting intense. People are dying. We see that Adam Strange is willing to get a little more chaotic and violent in this past life. He's more open to killing soldiers, to killing men, to sacrificing people to do his work, to just finding these different ways to survive in this war and do things differently. In classic Tom King style, he also has a big bushy beard to show a sign of, I think it's like progression or aging or depression. I don't know which one you could say for that. It's just like time has passed. He grew a beard. Yeah. So in the past, we see he's getting chaotic. He's like using like some weird Atlantean water creatures kind of as bait to lure in creatures so they can fight a war with him. And you're just like, there's a lot of destruction going on in this book on Rann. Like, the warriors he's sacrificing and killing and murdering. There's so much destruction in it that it's very heartbreaking to see, which I really enjoy. There's just something beautiful about it. Of course, the artwork by Doc Shaner is gorgeous. And just seeing, like, we're losing the grip a little bit. Like, the curtain's being pushed back. We're seeing the actual stuff that is being presented here by Adam Strange. And in the present, we see Alanna is going through a bunch of stuff as she kind of like read the note. So we see that most of the dialogue in this book does come from this note that Mr. Terrific wrote to Alanna. And I think we'll get into that more. So we pretty much just follow Alanna as she is going around pretty much on just like, like the comeback tour where she's talking like figureheads and the military, and she's on like news broadcasts as she's trying to show you the reason she's defending her husband and the reason the Pict are here, and showing like we need to prepare for this more. And that's pretty much what she's doing there. That's the focus of that. There's a lot of just like singular moments in certain panels with Alanna in this book that I'm just like, this is very Tom King. Just the way he wants to like write about women and talk about women, like this strong figure that is kind of defending and perpetrating all the events that her husband is doing. That is very much a Tom King trope. I know it's weird to say, but he loves making the love interest, the wife character, the central figure in a story like this. We've seen it numerous times over from him, and I'm not complaining about that at all. I think it's a very cool concept, and just the idea that we see Alanna going around talking to, like, army soldiers and everyone in the military about different weapons and devices we could use to actually defend against the Pict. That's kind of fun. There's something interesting about that, and the way that Earth is kind of like in solidarity with her. They believe what she's doing and they trust who she is and what she's about. I think that's really cool. Obviously, Mitch Gerads' art, it slaps. It slaps incredibly hard in certain moments. This issue in particular, I did notice with his art style, I know that Mitch does a lot of like background characters based on people in the real world. We saw that in like, you know, Mr. Terrific, not Mr. Terrific, Mr. Miracle and all that stuff. I think there are specific moments in this issue where you can clearly see Alanna looking a lot like Olivia Munn. I don't think it might not be intentional, or it could be intentional, but there's some just like scenes in particular where I'm like, this looks a lot like Olivia Munn. Interesting choice, buddy. Not complaining, I'm just saying you really went for that. So let's get into like the meat of this book, which is the letter from Mr. Terrific. And basically it starts off with him like, yeah, you know, I've reviewed all the information, I've had my suspicions throughout most of this, but there's just some things that weren't adding up. There was a few inconsistencies that I didn't really understand. And one of the first ones was when I studied all like the evidence of the Pict Wars and like the previous attacks on people, they were very capable. They handled themselves really well in big wars like this. So the fact that you and your husband single-handedly were able to like push back their forces, I don't think that makes sense. Frankly, I think it's weird. I think it was bullshit. Which I'm like, you go, girl. You do it. It probably is bullshit. It is bullshit. So, the thing I like is, and again, it's Mr. Travis, like, so from an objective perspective, I've reached one conclusion from seeing the way they fought in this war. The Pict intentionally lost the battle. Which I'm like, okay, I can see that being something there too. He's like, the other inconsistency for me was the massacre in Phoenix, Arizona. Now, there's people saying that Batman with enough prep time can stop anything from happening, and maybe he can, and he did have enough prep time in order to do that. So I'm wondering, why didn't they find a reason to do that? How did the entire Pict outmaneuver Batman in this regard? And I couldn't find a single reason why. The Pict didn't need to defeat Batman. There was no reason to get Batman involved in this. There was nothing that Batman could have done, but they still, for some reason, got Arizona. So obviously there was something intentional that happened in that regard that made them get Arizona. What could that have been? Interestingly, I don't know. And this is where I'm just like, this is so Tom King, it hurts, but it's really well done. The third inconsistency, when he went through the book and like to the dedication is to his daughter, it is like a passage from Psalm 31, King James translation, 1611. And then we get like, I'm not going to say like the actual like, I don't know, is it a verse? Is it a Bible verse? I'm not going to say it, but basically Mr. Terrific says that the passage that was dedicated to their daughter isn't something that a father would write to his deceased daughter. It's not about like mourning or feeling for it. It's about a man consumed with his own grief, with like being hurt by the enemies, by being ashamed of what they had to do. It's more like a, hey kid, I'm sorry for everything that happened to you. This is me trying to explain it as to why it happened. And when we see the entire like Bible verse being presented with all the pages of Alanna going, you know, to the military and talking in like press conferences and stuff, we're just like, what is happening? What are you getting at, Mr. Terrific? There's something really intense here that I cannot wait to see. So it's like, this isn't what a man in mourning says. I've lost my child too. I understand what a man in this position would say. This isn't what a man who is grieving for his daughter would say or dedicate to her. So this is my explanation. This is what I think is happening. Here's what Mr. Terrific believes is the case for the world. We got the three inconsistencies. The Picts defeated us easily, the Picts let us win on Ran, and your husband's inexplicableness to like justify what he wrote to his dead daughter. And here's what he comes to conclusion with. And I love it because we see that Alanna's just, you know, we start the book with Alanna putting on the makeup, doing the press tour. We end the book with her taking it off, getting ready to get on with her life. And we see that she's getting angrier and angrier with every frustration. So here it is. Here's the thing. I'm like, this is really clever, the way you hit all this in this book. Okay, Adam Strange. Okay, let's start with this. This is what Mr. Terrific thinks happened. If this is the truth, we don't know, but it probably is. This is what Mr. Terrific thinks happened. Adam Strange made a deal with the Picts. In exchange for their defeat on Ran, he agreed to give them Earth. To ensure that Adam keeps the bargain, the Picts took your daughter as collateral. To cover this exchange, Adam faked her death. Adam was given the freedom to commit crimes against their soldiers so that any doubts he had in Adam's loyalty would be counterbalanced by his seemingly endless hatred. You know, the worse he acted, the more he killed. It made it look like these things were happening. So, he lied to the world, he lied to Ren, and he lied to his wife. And we see that Adam finds the note on the coffee table when Alanna walks down the stairs. And we end the books with like, okay, what's going to happen next? Is it true? We don't confirm if Adam actually like read the note, but that is a conclusion that Mr. Terrific came to. Adam faked all of this. He faked the death of his daughter. The Picts actually have him. In deal to keep Rand safe, they're coming to invade Earth. That is why it was so easy for them to get to Arizona. That's why it was so easy for Adam and Alanna to look like they won the war. And I'm like, that is a really cool idea that I wasn't really expecting. I didn't know. I think everyone was like, Alanna's going to be the perpetrator, right? She's going to be the one that did everything. Nope. It's Adam. Adam was the genius behind the scenes the whole time. It flips that on the switch. It's not Alanna in control anymore. It's been Adam the whole time, which is a very, very interesting concept that I wasn't really expecting to be played with in this book. But I'm like, I get it. That's very cool. I'd like to see more of that idea, actually. It's a very exciting concept, and that was a great reveal. If this turns out to be the truth, it's a very powerful reveal and a very great moment, and you're cutting it in between the shots of Alanna and the letter from Mr. Terrific is a brilliant piece of Tom King's storytelling that actually works this time, and I thoroughly enjoy what it's trying to say here. So great artwork, great writing, a fantastic script that makes me go, I wish I wrote something this good in my life. Fantastic issue of Strange Adventures. So, Strange Adventures, issue number 10. I am going to give a 10 out of 10. Another one for this book, baby. So thank you guys for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, Patreon, Twitter, all that good stuff. And I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck.